my internal team was doing pretty good. After a couple months of this, I saw the improvement. I saw I was going in the right direction. It's like, we got to fix this cleaning problem. And we had all of these protocols in place to hold cleaners accountable, checklists for days on end. They had to take pictures. We had all these requirements written into these contracts that we would have with them. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing I noticed when I really started to pick apart the issue is that there were properties that consistently got good cleaning scores and then those that didn't, right? It wasn't like the negative cleanliness reviews were equally distributed across all of our inventory. It was concentrated into certain properties. And so that was the first, And some of these properties would be cleaned by cleaners that were cleaning other properties that had really high marks, right? So we'd have two properties, for example, next door, actually did a really great video on that, two properties next door, model matches, right? One had almost a perfect 5.0 cleanliness rating and one had a very, very low 4 cleanliness rating. Same cleaner, model match properties. And so when we started just seeing, we thought it was a property problem. What I'm getting at. Our first thought was like, something's going on with the cleaners. And then my ops team, including my partners, like, no, that property right there, the owner doesn't want to take care of it. So there's just a whole bunch of deferred maintenance that we're not allowed to fix because we're not given a budget to do it. And I was like, you sure? All right, I'm gonna go see for myself. So I hopped on a plane and, we're in a dozen cities. And so operating, right? So, I drove to Coachella Valley and got some really insightful stuff, flew to Phoenix, then from there went to Houston, then to St. Louis. And so I made this kind of big tour over the course of a couple of weeks because I wanted to go see for myself these properties and what the differences are. And I want to show up right before check-in, right? After the cleaner had gone in, they don't know I'm coming. And I just wanted to see for myself what was going on. And the long and short of it is that we found out that it was in fact the cleaners, all right? So those two houses that were side by side, one cleaner would clean one property and another cleaner would clean the other property. So it was quality differences. The clean house on those same two side by side properties in every property that got high cleanliness marks versus those that didn't. The big difference was just in the details, right? Like if you go looking for dust on window seals, if you look under beds, if you look behind and around the toilet, whether it's that little splatter zone, you look at the glass in the shower, is it spotted, right? Or did they actually Windex it clean? The cleaners that got high marks, they hit all of those spots, right? The ones that got consistently poor reviews, they were just surface level cleaners, right? If you got to bend over or reach too far up or down, they didn't touch it, right? That was genuinely it. So I brought this to the attention of literally all my cleaners. Like, you got a chance to correct this, but here's what I'm seeing the cleaners that are getting good marks consistently doing. And I would walk through the properties with them. I'd be like, look at this windowsill. It's dusty from top to bottom. Look at this. I could just find dust everywhere. And I could find splatter around the toilets. And we could look under the bed and there's a piece of trash. There's a sock there, right? Just show them all the spots. I also got rid of the checklist. I got rid of the picture requirement, and I started having them just do a walkthrough video at the end of their clean, which is way easier to do, right? Having to like stop and do a checklist when you clean every room, like, did you put the clock in the right spot? And all this crap, right? And then you got to take a picture before you can submit it. Now there's an upload problem. We actually just got rid of that app last week that we were using, Breezeway, gone, bye. Good cleaners don't need it. They don't. But we still need some evidence that the property was clean because some guests are not very honest. We also want to catch damages, which cleaners aren't always great at doing because they're there to clean, not there to fix other problems, right? So we just had them do a walkthrough video, show us that the property's clean, show me the details, right? Lift up the blinds, show me the windowsill every time when you do this walkthrough, and it worked. It worked. So our cleanliness, our overall ratings, as I said, are up to 4.8 now. Our cleanliness score is up to about a 4.7. So our in-house stuff has been more effective to this point, and I'm still working on some stuff with the cleaners. We're doing some bonus initiatives. Nonetheless, the real big thing is that we got good at identifying what good cleaners do, and we also got good at identifying good cleaners before we ever had them clean one of our properties. All right, that's called the closest and cleanest method. I have another video out there about that floating around, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so we got good at just identifying good cleaners, and we got good at training what good cleaning is to our cleaners, letting them know what we're looking for. All right, what it actually is that constitutes good cleaning procedures versus what it doesn't. And to be clear, like, this is stuff that we learned rather painfully over the course of months, mind you, that I'm summing up in under 30 minutes. And there was a lot more nuance to it than what it would take me all day. I could write a book on what we've gone through this year to get our review scores up. But there is, what I've told you so far, those are the most effective things, I think. And there is one more thing, though, that we just discovered kind of recently and has shown very strong potential for incredible success. And that's what we call early check-in gifting. One of my partners came up with it. Super effective. So, and we do this thing called Magic Pill, where if you can solve a guest issue or positively affect their stay for $50 or less, you don't even need permission, just do it and report it after the fact, right? We have a policy on when we give refunds proactively without even being asked, right? Like we've tried a lot of things, right? And so the biggest things, aside from the last two I just showed you, the guest-facing gimmick or hack, if you will, that we've just found super effective is giving them an early check-in at 8 a.m. in the morning, all right? So our normal check-in time is 4 p.m. And if you pay a little extra, we can let you in as early as noon. And we still, anytime a guest inquires about early check-in, we're like, if we're going to actually like block the calendar for you to make sure that there's no checkout happening in the morning, if there isn't already, right? There's a fee. Hotels do this. No one's really offended by it. And so on the day of check-in now, if the property is already clean, right? So there's no departure clean, there's no turnover clean. The house is it's ready to go. Then at 8 a.m. at every property, every morning that has this condition true, it is clean at 8 a.m. The guest gets a message. The house is ready. Check in whenever you like at 8 a.m. in the morning when their expected check-in time is 4 p.m. or maybe noon, right? If they've paid a little extra, no matter what, we just give it to them. It's ready for you. Just go in there, right? Guests love this. They freaking love it. All right. It is so worth it. Whether they pay for it or not, it is freaking worth it. Just do it. Just do it. It's easy. It's the easiest. It costs nothing. The house is just sitting there unused, right? No one's there. And the guests, they're always ready to check in before 4 p.m. Always. They always get in. It's very rare, not like 90% of the time, they are in town with their luggage, ready to just like get in the house and, change their clothes and go get food, right? But now the best we can do most of the time is like you can drop the luggage off in the garage, I guess, and then go figure something out to do before you can actually properly check into the house and get yourself comfortable. No, 8 a.m. They freaking love it. So just do it. Do it. Do it. If you do nothing else, let your guests start checking in at 8 a.m. and make it a surprise, not an expectation. The expectation is 4 p.m. The surprise is a text message at 8 a.m. like, hey, house is ready, so just check in whenever you like, including right now. Here's the door code. Check in. Boom. Done. They will freaking love you for it. You will get better reviews. It sets a good tone. Like, hey, I'm here to be hospitable, right? And so if they do show up and there is some kind of issue, because sometimes there is, whatever it might be, a thing is not working or a thing is dirty. It's always one of those two, right? So if that happens, they're way more forgiving because they know you're cool as shit. You just let them in the house early. Do it. Just do it. So look, it took us a long time and a lot of pain to figure this out, and we're still figuring stuff out, and there's other things I'm doing that I didn't talk about. But if you're having issues with any of this, if your review scores are starting to fall, because aside from growth, there's also expectations have gone up, and that by default has reduced review scores, in my opinion, I think, right? People are just getting more used to the existence of being able to book someone's home like that quick, right? And so it used to be like this novel thing that you could do, like, look at this place called Airbnb.com. I can just book someone's house, right? There's so many to choose from. This is awesome. Now it's like they have way higher expectations. And so that, I think, has driven down review scores too. And so if you're having any issues maintaining quality reviews, let's talk. It's free. My initial consultation is always free. So just click on the link in the comments and let's have a conversation about it. I'm sure I can help.